And so I say good morning and welcome to our YouTube and our Facebook friends who are joining us via our live stream. Whether you're watching it now or you're watching it sometime later in the week, welcome to the Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. We are located here in beautiful Monterey, California. And if Monterey happens to be a destination for you, we invite you to stop by and celebrate with us. We will say together our statement of being in unison. We will pause for a few moments of reflection and quiet. Our opening prayer this morning will be brought forward by myself. Our musical inspiration is from Amber Guzman. And then our talk for today is titled, Carrying Our Doubt Together. And so let us say together now our statement of being, and the words are on our monitors. We believe that life is good, that God is all there is, and that love is the only power. We are a welcoming and inclusive community of inspired individuals caring for and about each other and the entire planetary family, bringing the gifts of active compassion and kindness to the world. Our purpose is to transform lives, build dreams, and reveal God through education, music, service, generosity, and play. Our contemplative question for the morning is, what power and possibility lie in our collective doubts? What power and possibility lie in our collective doubts? And so we will take a few moments in the silence to reflect on this thought. As we open ourselves to the beauty that is all around, what I know to be true is that there is only one life, one power, one presence, one energy that is creating harmony in all that we do, in all that we see, in all that we say. I'm knowing that each one that is gathered here in our physical location and those who are joining us via technology are individualized representations of pure spirit. And so as we gather together to celebrate and to revel in our time together. I declare our time together good and very good, knowing that everything that is in our lives is blessed, and that we move forward recognizing and embracing and knowing that only the highest and best is working out for everyone exactly where they are. For places where people are gathering in the name and nature of the one love, I bless that gathering time, knowing that all is working, all is good, all is well. And for this and so much more, I am grateful. And we affirm it together by saying, and so it is.
Testing, testing. Good morning. Happy Sunday to one and all. Again, my name is Amber Guzman, and I am so thankful for Reverend Robert because lately he has been giving me the most wonderful songs to sing. And this one is great because it's quiet, and it's not a lot of screaming and hollering because we're still working out our sound system and how it sounds, and so this is really wonderful. I couldn't find a backing track for it, a karaoke style track, and I was going to play it on my guitar, but I didn't have quite enough time to get it Facebook Live ready. So I was able to find a track, and it's a little faster than I'd like to sing it, but this song is called Love Will Always Win, and it's by an artist called Travis Scott. Yeah, 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 yeah. I see so much pain from the choices that we have made. So much we could change. Can't help but wonder if it's too late. There's a truth that just might save us. Love is a language stronger than hate. Love is forgiveness, it doesn't run away. Love needs no weapon, it's its own defense. In the end, love will always win. Isn't that nice? I see so much war. Do we know what we're fighting for? And it tore us apart. But the battle's within our hearts. There's a truth that just might save us. Love is a language stronger than hate. Love is forgiveness, it doesn't run away. Love needs no weapon, it's its own defense. In the end, love will always win, yeah. Love will always win. Listen to this. And if tongues of angels without love, we've got nothing. If faith moves mountains without love, we've got nothing. And if faith moves mountains without love, we've got nothing. Oh, the tongues of angels without love, we've got nothing. Love is the language stronger than hate. Love is forgiveness, it doesn't run away. Love forms no weapon, it's its own defense. In the end, love will always win. In the end, love will always win. Love will always win.
Thank you, Amber. What a beautiful reminder to know, just to really know that love will always win. So we are continuing our May series. This is part 3 of our series on divine doubt. Divine doubt is an invitation for us to reconsider the uncertainty not as a spiritual obstacle, but as a sacred threshold. So we're taking a new twist on doubt and seeing it as a positive rather than as a negative. And our topic today is carrying our doubt together. There's a story that I want to share with you that I came across on, I think one of the spiritual sources that I subscribe to. And it reminded me, for those of us who have taken the foundations class many, many years ago, there's a story in there about a person walking down the street and stepping into a hole. And then, and you may have heard this story in other settings. And so the next day they walk down the street and they see the hole and they walk around it. And the third day they walk down another street. Well, this story is a slightly different take on that, but I think you'll appreciate it. So this one begins, a man is walking down the street and he fell into a deep hole. The walls were so deep that he couldn't climb out. And so a doctor passed by and the man called up, "Help me, I'm stuck down here." The doctor wrote a prescription, tossed it down in the hole, and walked on. A priest comes by. The man shouted, "Father, I'm down here. Please help me." The priest wrote out a prayer, dropped it in the hole, and moved along. Then a friend came by. "Hey, Joe, it's me. I'm down here in this hole." Without hesitation, the friend jumped in the hole with him. The man said, "Are you crazy? Now we're both down here." And the friend said, "Yeah, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out." This is how doubt shows up in our lives. You know, it's like I've walked down this road, whatever this proverbial road is, and you know, I've shouted for help, and all of these people have passed me by, but then a friend comes along. And that friend often is the voice of spirit that is speaking to us. doing everything that it can to sidetrack us, like watching that new special on Netflix, the binge watching. And it's like, oh, I'll just watch this one more, and looking at the watch, oh, I should go to bed. No, I'll watch one more. So there's this visceral tug of war. Go to bed, get some rest. No, I want to see one more episode of this. The challenge, or no, let me back up. Let's see. When our soul says yes to an idea, when we're experiencing this visceral tug of war, our soul is saying yes to an inspired idea, while our body is saying no, creating an internal split that can be very uncomfortable to sit with. The body might say no because deep down it knows that each soul-inspired idea is meant to challenge us, to move us out of our comfort zone. And so this challenge will ask us to stretch in ways that we may not want to, or ways that we haven't stretched before. These are invitations from the body, a call to liberation in disguise. And so when the soul says yes, and the body appears to say no, what the body is saying, this is what I need you to reconcile with so we can move forward. So first of all, it's calling for reconciliation. And the body is also saying, what I need you to reclaim the capacity to meet with love so that we can move forward. As Amber presented in our song this morning, it's all based in love. So when we find ourselves in those conflicts where the mind is and the body is pulling us one direction, but our intuition, our spiritual self is pulling us into a deeper awareness of our allness, our connection with spirit. It's an invitation to reconcile with ourselves and to reclaim our capacity to meet with love any experience that we're faced with. The soul is not trying to protect us. This is a myth that sometimes we move to in science of mind and in our metaphysical communities. The soul is not trying to protect us. It is not trying to get in our way. It is trying to liberate us. It's trying to set us free from our own self-imposed conditions that we have made on it. The eternal reality is that the soul or our shadow or our body are never working against us, and they're never working against one another. This may be a new way of looking at this. The soul, the shadow, and the body are never working against us or one another. What they're doing is inviting us to reclaim the capacity to embrace more of our fullness, even when it looks like resistance. And again, it's an invitation to go within and just ask, what is a single-minded item or piece or awareness that I'm looking for that will draw me together? Putting this in the context of divine doubt, fully exploring and leaning into the spiritual experience can foster a deeper and a richer faith. The spiritual experience we seek is possible when we don't push away doubt and instead open ourselves up to it. So it's an invitation to embrace doubt and to not fear it. And so our collective doubt is the inner experience of doubt that is just as natural as personal doubt. So I'm talking more about community now. Our collective inner experience of doubt is as natural as our personal doubt, yet it is often more visible and socially shared, shaping the way a community grows together. You know, not only in science of mind, but in other traditions. The physical location where the community comes together, where it's a church, a mosque, well, more in the Christian tradition, I think, a mosque, not a mosque, but a church or a spiritual gathering, rather than being identified as the gathering place for the community by name, and I'll just use our community as an example, Monterey Center for Spiritual Living. What's referred to is whomever the minister is. Well, that's Reverend Robert's church, or that's Reverend so-and-so's church, or that's Reverend so-and-so's church. And so this is where we get to shape and grow together as a community, because we're identified by who we attract with us, who we attract that is going to join us and be a part of the journey, and who is just going to stop by and visit for a while and maybe move on to a different expression. A reading today from Howard Thurman I want to share with you in his book, Disciples of the Spirit. Howard Thurman, for those of you who may not know him, Thurman was a Christian mystic. And I love his writings because they represent contemplative metaphysics in the language of the soul. There he wrote, "There is a fellowship of suffering as well as a community of sufferers." Think about that. There's a fellowship of suffering as well as a community of sufferers. Suffering indeed tends to isolate the individual, to create a call, even within the privacy that imprisons them, to overwhelm them with self-perception. It makes the spirit miserable in the literal sense of that word. Initially, it stops the outward flow of life and makes virtue of the necessity of turning inward. Indeed, one of the ground rules of humanity's struggle with pain is focusing of life's energies at a single point. All of those can be summoned and marshaled, and this is what Holmes talks about as single-mindedness. This is true whether we are dealing with sheer physical pain or the more complex aspects of other dimensions of suffering. This pain gives their mind something else to think about and requires what approximates total attention. The energy of life becomes available when the conditions of single-mindedness are met. The energy of life becomes available when the conditions of single-mindedness are met. And so by sharing and exploring our personal doubts together, we create the fertile ground for spiritual growth, both individually and collectively. Discovering the doubt and possibility within our collective doubts, we revisit doubt as a path to faith and curiosity, and we witness the transformations that sharing and exploring doubt can bring. And we experience the transformation here in our own Monterey Center for Spiritual Living community by honoring our doubts and fears about selling our Franklin Street building. And we approach that not from a point of weakness, but as a necessary starting point for expanding our awareness of being open at the top. And I just want to acknowledge and celebrate our community again for the way we came together, the process of exploring, finding renters that would provide additional financial resources for us to stay at our Franklin Street location. And then coming to this point of single-mindedness, although we never identified that, we did come to a point of single-mindedness where there was agreement that this is an opportunity to be open at the top, to expand into something new. And when we came together in one accord, look how everything manifested. And it manifested with ease and with grace and with elegance. We named our individual doubts. We eased each other's fears and shame about something similar. And then we worked together to find answers to old problems. Moving forward, whether with or without our doubts, we continue to learn, work with them, and name them. So doubts are an ongoing point of life. You know, it's like, okay, we've made the move. We made the physical move. And now the doubts about, well, what's going to happen with the system? You know, it's tested in the week, and then it has a mind of its own that fluctuates with the weather. And we never know what we're going to walk into on Sunday morning. So again, I want to thank you for sitting with us through the delays as we work out the adjustments that once were, and now we have to reset. This is just an example of naming that proverbial elephant that's in the room that we go through. And there is an adjustment period. You know, we're in this adjustment period. I don't necessarily want to say it's a honeymoon period, but it's an adjustment period where we are embracing what change looks like and the opportunities that it presents to us. And so in summary, what I would like to leave us with is, rather than turning away from doubt and turning away from our collective personal doubt, that remember we are called to embrace it as an opportunity to delve deeper into the most pressing questions we as individuals and communities face. Often the irritation of persistent doubt or other concerns provides the motivation and the focus that we need to understand, explore, and grow, both individually and collectively. And that reminds me of another old story that may be familiar to many of you. There's a guy sitting in the rocking chair. His dog is on the porch, and the dog is laying on a tack. And the dog is mourning, just moaning and moaning and moaning from the irritation of the tack. And so a passerby said to the guy, "Why don't you move the dog? You know, he's laying on the tack." And he says, when he gets uncomfortable enough, he'll move himself. And so this is where our persistent doubt leads us into this place of understanding, exploring, and growing both individually and as a community. Pushing doubt away ignores the opportunity it presents. As a community of individuals, each with their own doubts, leaning to understanding and working with doubt together helps us become more inclusive, more open to new ideas, and more committed to seeking the truth. And I conclude with this quote from, again, Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, Kindle edition, on page 285. And what Holmes wrote is, "Creation is eternally going on. Change is always taking place within that which is changeless. Forms appear and disappear in a medium which of itself is formless." And so let us turn within, taking a breath together just to create a little bit of a space to be open to our time of spiritual mind treatment. What I know to be true, there's only one thing happening, and that is life expressing. This life I call God, and yet I know and recognize that it is known by many names and traveled to along many different paths. Collectively, we are one with this life. And in being one with this life, we are also individualized expressions of this life. So it is those individual expressions of life coming together in unity, in single-minded focus, that creates the opportunity for us to continue to love and to grow in faith. And so as I speak my word this morning through this spiritual mind treatment, I know that love is the only answer, and that love always wins. in those situations where it seems like something is impossible, perhaps forgiving a wrong or not being able to bring closure to a transition, holding on to something that is a past hurt. Whatever it is, love is the answer, and love will heal. And so in surrender, I release and let go of any attachments that I have to past experiences that no longer serve me. And as I recall those past experiences and recall them and put them in the big envelope of love, the sting, the hurt, whatever it was of that experience, whatever the negative thing was, it diminishes and diminishes and diminishes as I continue to infuse it with love. And out of that experience, what I know emerges is a new perspective, a new way of thinking, a new way to find gratitude and to look at what I have learned through the experience, what has allowed me to grow through that experience. And as I affirm this truth for myself, I affirm it for each one that is a part of this conversation, wherever you are listening to it or viewing it from. Knowing that everything is continually unfolding for our highest and best, I give thanks. I release this treatment, I release this prayer, I release this time together into that law, which always says yes. And I invite you to affirm it with me as we say together, and so it is. And now I invite us to say our affirmation for the week. The words will be on our monitor. I share the power and potential of collective curiosity. I share the power and potential of collective curiosity. And now it is time for us to participate in the flow of abundance and sharing our own good. And we have an affirmation of abundance that I invite us to say together. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance consciousness flows everything I could desire in life. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so we have ways to donate to our spiritual center by mail. Please note our new mailing address, P.O. Box 804, Monterey, California, 93942. And as the greeter passes the basket here in the center, I invite you to just infuse it with love. And I know many of you donate online or via text, so just make sure that everybody has a chance to infuse love into our collection basket. And so we invite you to join us here at our new location, number 57 Soledad Drive in Monterey, California. And we will continue our May series. For the next 2 Sundays, we will have guest speakers to close out this series. So next Sunday, a longtime friend and supporter of our community, Reverend Kathleen Gear, will be in person to speak with us. And the topic of her talk is communal uncertainty, using our doubts to engage with wonder and curiosity as we continue to build the webs of love and respect within our communities. And next Sunday is also, or that weekend is also the celebration of Memorial Day. So even if you are traveling, I invite you, if you have access to Zoom, to join us via Zoom. Or if you're not traveling, I invite you to join us here in person and welcome Reverend Kathleen. And then on May 31st, which is the last Sunday of the month, Lee Valentine will be our guest speaker. Lee is a member of the Centers for Spiritual Living community, member community. And the member community, or it may be the member, I think it's the member council. The member council is comprised of individuals who are not licensed practitioners or not licensed ministers. So in traditional terms, it would be the laity. So Bobby Hall served in that position representing Monterey. And Lee and Bobby have had a nice relationship. And so Lee has graciously agreed to come and speak to us on the 31st. And his topic is Doubt is Devotion, Questioning as an Act of Faith. Rather than being an insult to the divine, doubt is an act of devotion in itself. We do not claim to have all of the answers. Rather, we have methods for seeking them and for adjusting once new information comes to light. So these are exciting topics, and I encourage you to join our guest speakers and shower them with our Monterey love. And so to our Facebook and YouTube family, we say thank you for joining us. We appreciate you, we love you, and we thank God for you.